I want to thank you guys all for coming over so I can give you this quick talk on obesity and childhood diabetes. As everybody in here knows, I'm a type 1 diabetic, which means I have to give myself insulin, check my blood sugar, and eat a relatively restricted diet in terms of to stay healthy. Before we get started on the diabetes side, just a couple facts about obesity in America today. The American Medical Association says that 58 million Americans are considered obese, which is anything over 20% body fat, which sounds like a lot because it is a lot, and obesity strikes well over that range, but that is the break point between overweight and obese. The more important figure for this discussion is the fact that 13% of children are considered obese, and that figure has gone up steadily for many years. And obese children have a number of problems: psychological, mental, emotional, and also with their physical bodies, heart disease, but especially diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, one of the main causes, in fact, over 45% of diabetes cases in children are due to directly related to being obese. And so today I'm just going to talk about a couple things that I think are real important as to why children are obese today, and also a couple things we can do to maybe break that cycle and reduce the number of type 2 diabetes diagnoses that are made in the country every year. There's a couple reasons that I feel are probably the biggest for children being overweight right now. Number one, 20, 30, 40 years ago, the lifestyles were more active. We didn't have video games and quite so much TV to watch, so kids were outside doing more, riding their bikes, playing baseball in the streets, things like that. Nowadays, they come home from school, maybe both parents are working, so they got to stay at home, entertain themselves. They play video games, watch TV, sit on the couch and eat unhealthy snacks because they don't have anything at home to eat that's better. And also, it's kind of what they're seeing modeled in our society, given that there's so many overweight and obese people in America's society. And then before we get into some of the responsible parties, I'll just give you a brief description of the two types of diabetes. Type 1, the one that I have, your pancreas doesn't work at all. So your body cannot process any of the carbohydrates and sugar. Your pancreas is the organ that produces insulin. So you got to take a shot 2, 3, 4 times a day, or have a pump with you all the time. Type 2 diabetes, your pancreas still works, but maybe not as well. So your body can't process all of that sugar and carbohydrate out. And obesity is a common factor in causing that. And that can be treated with pills or just diet. In a lot of cases, can even be reversed with diet. So there are some definite things that we can do to not only reduce the diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, but stop it altogether and even reverse some of the trends we see today. And I think probably there's two big responsible parties involved, and one is the schools today, because they have so much interaction with our kids. They're always around them, 5 days a week, and especially when they get up into higher grades, middle school, high school, they have a lot of choices in terms of what they can eat in the cafeteria, what they can drink, soda machines everywhere, sugar-filled juices, and even the healthy things in the cafeteria, like the fruit cups and things like that, are so heavily laden with sugar syrup that they kind of negate any benefits of having that fruit around. And then we as parents, again, you work in a two-parent household, but they both work. Kids are home alone, eating whatever's on the shelves. So it goes back to us buying proper food for our kids, making sure they have healthy snacks that aren't high in sugar, aren't high in carbohydrates, and yet they're still something that are appetizing to the kids. Excuse me. And again, going back to the schools, I don't know if any of you saw a few years ago, Shaquille O'Neal actually did a program where he tried to get schools in California to become a little bit more active in terms of more PE classes, more extracurricular activities, to get the kids more active, not have them go home and play video games, but have them go out and do things enjoy the outdoors, ride bikes, play sports, run, walk, whatever it may be. And also he brought in a chef to show the cafeteria staff how they can offer better selections rather than chicken nuggets and pizza, things that are just loaded with carbohydrates and just aren't good in general for our kids to be eating. Unfortunately, that didn't go anywhere, but he was on the right track in terms of trying to turn things around. And we and parents, as parents, can follow that same example in terms of just our shopping habits, our own personal physical activity habits, making sure our kids are outside playing, we're out there with them, interacting, playing basketball, throwing a ball around, going on walks, going on runs, going on a family bike ride, just getting out, being active, not sitting on the couch watching TV, your favorite recorded TiVo program or whatever. If that's all you do when you come home, that can be a problem. There's a couple things that I think schools and parents can both do. Schools, I think there should be more stiff regulations in terms of how much physical education classes students are required to take. I know in my own personal case, my son, who's in 6th grade, only has to take one semester of PE in 3 years of middle school, which is not enough. Even if you're not athletic, you should still be able to go out there, walk, run, do all those things. It teaches you many valuable lessons in terms of just real world situations. But also they need to be offered better choices at school. They can still have soda and juice and things like that, but I think there needs to be more attention paid to the food that we're feeding our kids at school, both to help them with their mental acuity in class, but also to make sure they're not filling their bodies with stuff they don't need. And at home, parents can just simply, everybody's busy, everybody's got to work, but with a little pre-planning, pre-meal planning, making meals ahead of time so you can pop them in the oven when you get home instead of bringing home fast food, things like that with a lot of calories, a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of sugar, a lot of bad stuff. We can still have family dinners, eat quickly, make sure we're taking care of all our other responsibilities, but maintain a healthier lifestyle. Excuse me. And one thing that'll help us with that, the technology for food additives, sugar substitutes, things like that has gotten so advanced that they're healthier for us. They don't have so many chemicals in them. A lot of them are made out of natural substances. So we don't have to worry quite as much about the side effects of those chemicals going in our body because a lot of things are pretty natural now. A little more expensive, but at least we're on the right track in terms of lower sugar, lower carbohydrate substitutes. In conclusion, our children are our future, and we have to make sure we take care of them, set a good example, show them how to live their lives so that they can stay healthy, maintain a healthy weight, maintain a healthy lifestyle, not be saddled with type 2 diabetes and medicine for the rest of their lives. Type 2 diabetes can and will eventually turn into type 1 because your pancreas will quit. You won't be able to produce any insulin, and you will be on insulin for the rest of your life. So there are some definite things that we can do to increase the health of our population and decrease the rate of type 2 diabetes diagnosis in America. And that will help with our medical costs down the road, quality of life for our children, productivity of our children. They won't be sick as often. Diabetes is something that can sap your strength, sap your energy. And there's just no reason with a little bit of planning and preparation and responsibility on our part that we can't focus this, turn it around, and actually reverse the trend of higher diabetes rates every year. I appreciate you guys all coming out. I'm really happy that I got to talk to you. Hopefully some of this information helped. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.